So, the Ocarina of Time, my all-time favorite. I think the story is so amazing. And the mind-blowing thing about it is the creation of those two timelines that keep on in the next games. Oh my, this is so incredible, because there is Link, the hero of time, who travels to the future and resolves this whole mess Ganondorf has created, rescues the sages and whatnot, and rescues the world from Ganondorf. And so there is this one timeline where Link, the adult hero of time, after rescuing everyone, defeating Ganondorf, goes on. And then there's this other timeline after Link has traveled back to the past, managed to convince Princess Zelda of the evil plans of Ganondorf, so she tells her father believes her, and this whole disaster doesn't even ever come to pass. So the sages are never kidnapped, none of Ganondorf gains no power, Ganondorf never gets to the realm, to the sacred realm to get the Triforce. None of this ever happens. So, and this is like this other timeline. And this is so awesome. Especially in the further games where this kind of is important. No, not important, but is so interesting to know. Okay, but let's get right back to the next game, which is Majora's Mask. And Majora's Mask takes place exactly after Ocarina of Time, in the timeline where Link has gone back to the past, so is a child again, and none of all this Ganondorf thing has ever happened. So in this timeline. Before I talk about it, let's listen to the story and the plot. During my travels, a very important mask was stolen from me by an imp in the woods. All I ask is that you also get back my precious mask that the imp stole from me. Why, to someone like you, it should by no means be a difficult task. Except the one thing is, I'm a very busy fellow, and I must leave this place in 3 days. How grateful I would be if you could bring it back to me before my time here is up. This game features an unusual storyline for a Zelda title. Rather than the setting being Hyrule, as it is in most Zelda games, Link finds himself in the land of Termina, a parallel world to Hyrule, featuring many characters physically identical to characters from Ocarina of Time. A mysterious mask, known as Majora's Mask, has been stolen by a mischievous imp known as the Skull Kid, and is being used to summon the moon to destroy the entire land of Termina. Link must stop the destruction within 3 days. Due to this apocalyptic looming urgency and the recurring theme of death, as well as the slightly spookier designs featured throughout the game, many gamers consider Majora's Mask to be an overall dark game. In the land of Hyrule, there echoes a legend held dearly by the royal family that tells of a boy who, after battling evil and saving Hyrule, crept away from the land that had made him a legend. Done with the battles he once waged across time, he embarked on a journey a secret and a personal journey, a journey in search of a beloved and invaluable friend, a friend with whom he parted ways when he finally fulfilled his heroic destiny and took his place among legends. The story of Majora's Mask is set in the Child Link timeline after the events of Ocarina of Time. After the defeat of Ganondorf, Link is sent back in time so that he might relive his childhood. After some time has passed, he sets out on a journey with his horse, Epona, to find an unnamed friend he lost after his battles with evil. A fairy sound effect played as this information is disclosed likely implies that this friend is Navi, Link's fairy companion, who departed at the end of his adventure in Ocarina of Time. This was later confirmed in Hyrule Historia. While traveling deep inside the Lost Woods, Link is ambushed and knocked off his horse by the Skull Kid, a strange imp wearing a peculiar mask, and his two friends, the fairies Tuttle and Tile. The Skull Kid initially seems to recognize Link somehow, but quickly dismisses it, taking his Ocarina of Time. While the Skull Kid attempts to play the ocarina, Link comes to and approaches the Skull Kid. He tries to lunge at the Skull Kid to reclaim his ocarina, but the imp quickly mounts Epona and takes off deep into the woods. Link is able to hold onto the Skull Kid's legs for a little while before being thrown off, attempting to give chase on foot instead. Given no option, Link follows them into an entryway leading into a large, hollow tree. Once inside, Link finds himself on the edge of a great hole and is too late to save himself from falling into it. At the bottom of the hole, Link is confronted by the gloating Skull Kid, who claims he got rid of Link's horse. Using the evil powers of the mask, the Skull Kid then turns Link into a Deku Scrub. As the Skull Kid makes his exit, Turtle is separated from her brother Tile and has no choice but to ask Link's help, reuniting her with her companions. After navigating a complex of subterranean caves, Link meets the mysterious Happy Mask salesman, who has the power to change him back into his true shape, though he is first required to retrieve his Ocarina of Time in order to do so. In exchange, he asks Link to retrieve Majora's Mask from the Skull Kid. Exiting the caves, Link and Tuttle find themselves in the middle of Clock Town, the geographical and economic center of Termina, a parallel world to Hyrule. They discover that they have arrived while the city is in full preparation for its annual festival, the Carnival of Time. Little by little, Link learns that a looming catastrophe is threatening the land. The moon in the sky has assumed a horrible, evil phase and has abandoned its orbit, instead traveling straight toward Termina. In 3 days, it will crash directly into Clock Town, presumably destroying all of Termina. With the 3rd day almost up, Link finds the Skull Kid and retrieves the Ocarina of Time. Upon touching his precious instrument, Link is overcome by a memory of Princess Zelda teaching him the Song of Time. Remembering that the Goddess of Time will aid Link if he plays the song, Link learns from Tao's brother Tile that in order to defeat the evil of Majora's Mask, he must travel to all 4 of the outlying regions of Termina and rescue the 4 who are there, without much in the way of explanation. Left with no other option, Link and Turtle play the Song of Time as previously instructed. Link and Turtle are taken backwards into time and find themselves back at the precise point in time at which they arrived in Termina. Turtle recalls the happy mask salesman's promise, and the salesman promptly teaches Link the Song of Healing, sealing the curse placed upon Link within a Deku mask, allowing him to assume his Deku scrub form at his leisure. However, when he hears they failed to obtain Majora's mask, the frustrated happy mask salesman reveals to them the true nature of the ominous mask. It was created by a long-extinct tribe for use in their hexing rituals, but fearing misuse, they sealed it away to prevent a deadly cataclysm. The happy salesman eventually recovered it, but he too was ambushed by the Skull Kid on his travels. Once he had the mask, the Skull Kid initially used its power for small-time mischief before summoning forth the moon to destroy Termina. The happy mask salesman, aware of Link's past acts of heroism, has faith in his ability to regain the mask before he departs after the passing of 3 days. Once outside, Link makes his way to the southern swamp, whose waters have been poisoned as a result of an evil monster that has taken over Woodfall Temple. Link eventually happens upon a group of monkeys whose brother has been taken captive by the Deku royal family that rule the land. When he arrives at the Deku Palace, Link finds out that the monkey has been mistakenly blamed for the kidnapping of the Deku Princess. Link is able to sneak into the monkey's cell and learns from him the Sonata of Awakening that opens the way to Woodfall Temple. Link defeats the evil Odolwa within the temple and frees an innocent spirit that had been sealed inside its body. The spirit, one of the 4 giants, deities who protect the 4 outlying regions of Termina, teaches Link the Oath to Order, a song with which Link can summon the 4 giants to stop the moon. Once Link returns the Deku Princess to the castle, the innocent monkey is cleared of all charges and peace rules the swamps again. Using the hero's bow that he had found within Woodfall Temple, Link is also able to access Snowhead in the north, which is trapped in a season of perpetual winter. Using the Lens of Truth, Link is able to see the ghost of Darmani, a fallen hero of the Gorons who reside in the mountain. He follows Darmani's ghost to his grave, where he tells Link his story and of his disappointment with dying before he could save his people. Playing the Song of Healing, Link is able to heal his soul and allow him to pass on from the mortal realm. His spirit is sealed inside a Goron mask, which Link uses to assume his form. Within the Goron shrine, a young Goron is crying for his missing father. Link eventually finds the Goron elder, who asks Darmani to ease his son's distress by playing him the Goron lullaby. However, he cannot remember the entire song. When Link plays the unfinished song for the Goron elder son, he teaches him the rest of the song, inadvertently causing himself to fall asleep. Link plays the Goron's lullaby for the bewitched Bigoron, who inadvertently brought about the death of Darmani, allowing him to enter Snowhead Temple. After defeating Goat inside, spring returns to the mountains. With the coming of spring, Link is granted access to a cave wherein lives Midigoron, a manufacturer of powder kegs. After passing a small test, Link is granted to carry powder kegs and use them at his disposal. Using a powder keg, Link is able to access Romani Ranch, where he is overjoyed to find his horse still alive despite the Skull Kid's earlier words. After promising Romani to help save the cows from mysterious invaders, Link is taught Epona's song, allowing him to summon Epona to his side in certain places. Using his horse, he is able to jump the fence leading to the Great Bay in the west. The water temperature of the sea has gotten progressively warmer, rendering it inhospitable to aquatic life forms. Close to the beach, Link finds a fatally injured Zora and helps him ashore. The Zora, whose name is Mikau, tells Link of the troubles that have befallen the Great Bay. Among them, the capture of the eggs of Lulu, his bandmate in the all-Zora band, the Indigogos. Before collapsing, Link heals his soul with a song of healing, sealing his spirit inside a Zora mask. Using his new form's capacity for swimming, Link is able to sneak inside the fortress of the pirates that captured Lulu's eggs. While there, he overhears a conversation between Arvale and a subordinate while transporting the eggs from Zora Hall to their stronghold. The pirates were attacked by deep pythons, losing 3 eggs near Pinnacle Rock. Link is able to trade with a local fisherman who gives him a seahorse that he caught. The seahorse, wishing to rejoin its mate, guides Link to Pinnacle Rock, where Link rescues the final eggs. Link takes all the eggs to the Marine Research Lab, where they hatch and teach Link the new wave bossa nova. The professor admonishes him to rush to Lulu's side and play for her the song. As he does so, Lulu's missing voice is restored, awakening the giant turtle, a guardian of the sea. The giant turtle takes Link to Great Bay Temple, wherein he defeats Georg and restores the water's temperature. Using a mask he obtained from the Gorman brothers earlier, Link is able to enter Ikana Canyon, the once proud home of 2 warring nations. This inhospitable land is mostly devoid of living inhabitants. A group of Gyptos have surrounded a house nearby. Link is able to restore the flow of water, activating the music box that is part of the house. The resulting song causes the Gyptos to retreat within the earth, allowing the little girl who lives there to leave her house freely again. Link is able to bypass her and sneak into her house, where he finds her deformed father, who has been cursed by Gyptos. Link is able to play him the Song of Healing, sealing the curse within the Gypto mask. Link is able to use the mask to traverse the empty well nearby, leading him into the ancient castle of Ikana. Within the haunted castle, Link encounters Ego Ikana, king of Ikana, and his 2 bodyguards. After defeating them by bringing forth sunlight, Egos tells Link of the curse that was placed upon the land, preventing even the undead from dying. He teaches him the Elegy of Emptiness, which can summon forth copies of his various forms, allowing him to climb the stone tower and enter the temple therein. In order to complete the temple, Link must manipulate gravity itself. After defeating Twin Mold, the undead of Ikana may rest again, and Link has rescued all 4 giants. Gradually, Link learns from the 4 giants that the Skull Kid was once their friend, whom they had to leave behind when they left Termina to guard the land from their sleep. Using the Oath to Order, Link summons the 4 giants on the eve of the Carnival of Time. They are indeed able to stop the moon from falling, and the Skull Kid is rendered unconscious. As a reunited Tuttle and Tile celebrate their victory, however, the mask reveals itself to be capable of acting on its own power. It travels into the moon and is able to bring it down with more force, preventing even the 4 giants from stopping it from consuming everything. Though Turtle initially pleads with Link to restore time to the first day, he realizes that they must destroy the spirit within the mask to free the land. Link bravely ventures after the mask. Inside, or on the moon, Link finds himself on a pastoral green field populated by strange children wearing the boss remains, as well as one wearing Majora's mask. If Link trades all of the mask he had accumulated and solves the trials set forth by the children, the one wearing Majora's mask will challenge him to a fight. To make the battle more fair, he presents him with the fierce deity's mask. After Link defeats the 3 forms of Majora, the mask is rendered powerless and a new day dawns. The 4 giants, though they must depart once more, make friends with the Skull Kid, and the happy mask salesman has his mask. Though hesitant, Link leaves Termina behind to continue the search for his missing friend, as the happy inhabitants of Termina celebrate the Carnival of Time. A post-credit scene reveals that Link and Epona made their way back to the Lost Woods as they ride off towards a mysterious light that breaks through the dense forest. A large tree stump with carvings of Link, Skull Kid, Tile and Tuttle, and the 4 giants is shown after. So, Majora's Mask is a game I really enjoyed playing. Especially there is this one feature with the masks. This game really is a lot about masks because you can gather masks that have certain effects but especially you can get masks of passed away creatures. There is Deco Sprout, a Goron, and a Zora. Yeah, this is the three species you can transform into in that game, and this is something I really, really enjoyed, especially transforming into a Zora, because you can swim like a fish. Oh, it's so awesome, like very quickly. And even though I don't like water worlds in particular, I loved the whole game on the beach in Majora's Mask. Not the temple, okay, it wasn't that bad, but especially this whole beach situation. I really, really, really enjoyed it. And maybe because there are Gerudos again. And I love this Gerudo stealthy situation. So this was kind of my favorite part of Majora's Mask. So this is something I found awesome, that you can transform into the species you always meet in the Zelda games. Well, I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's because the game does not take place in Hyrule, but in Termina. It kind of doesn't feel like Zelda to me. I don't know if you can understand what I mean. The Zelda feeling isn't really there for me. The story is so different. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's really awesome. It's a really good game. But something feels odd about it. It's not the familiar Zelda feeling. I don't know. Do any of you have the same feeling, or am I alone there? I've mentioned some Zelda games in some videos before, and some of you told me that you agreed with me. Some said, no, Majora's Mask is awesome. And yeah, maybe you can tell me what you think about it. And some even say that there is some kind of deeper meaning behind the game. Do you know anything about that? Some even say that Link is in a parallel dimension somehow. Do you think so too? Can you confirm that somehow? I'm really curious to know. Okay. Awesome. So, then let's get to the next game. The Windwaker. And boy, this is different, so let's talk about it. This game is a sequel set hundreds of years after Ocarina of Time. The game is set on a group of islands in a vast sea called the Great Sea. The game begins with a retelling of an ancient legend among the people of the Great Sea. According to the legend, there was once a prosperous kingdom where an omnipotent golden power was hidden. But then, a great evil found and stole that power, using it to spread darkness until a young boy dressed in green sealed the evil. The boy became known as the hero of time and passed into legend. However, the evil that had been sealed began to return, but the hero did not appear. The people could only pray to their gods. The inhabitants of the Great Sea do not know what happened to the Great Kingdom, Hyrule. On a small southern island known as Outset Island, the young boy Link lives with his sister Eril and his grandmother. The elders of that island customarily dress their male youths in green, like the hero of time, when they become the same age as the child Link of Ocarina of Time. Suddenly, an enormous bird, the Helmarok King, appears carrying a girl in his claws to a nearby forest. Link follows the bird into the forest and rescues the girl, only to see Errol being taken away by the Helmarok King as he returns. The girl rescued in the forest is Tetra, captain of a pirate ship. With Link aboard, she follows the bird to the Forsaken Fortress, where a mysterious man is holding Errol and several other kidnapped girls. Unfortunately, Link's attempt to rescue Errol fails, and he is tossed from the fortress by the Helmarok King. A talking boat, called the King of Red Lions, finds the unconscious Link and brings him to Windfall Island. He explains that the mysterious master of the Forsaken Fortress is Ganondorf, the evil of legend. He also tells him that in order to be able to defeat this ancient evil, he must find the pearls of the goddesses. After completing this task, Link brings the 3 pearls to the 3 Triangle Islands. Then a beam of light appears, forming an image of the Triforce on the sea, and in the middle of it, the Tower of the Gods rises from deep beneath the sea. Inside of this tower, Link must prove himself worthy by completing the many trials therein. Only doing so, he is allowed to be taken beneath the waters to the ancient Hyrule Castle, filled with enemies frozen in time. Inside the castle, Link finds a great chamber where he finds the Master Sword, the legendary blade of evil's bane that the hero of time used to seal Ganondorf. With the Master Sword in hands, Link returns to the Forsaken Fortress to defeat Ganondorf. But instead of defeating him, the Master Sword fully lifts Ganondorf's seal, unbinding his full power. And to make things worse, the Master Sword loses his power in the process and can no longer repel evil. During the battle, it is revealed that Tetra is wearing a Triforce fragment, which means that she is the reincarnation of Princess Zelda. After escaping the fortress, Link and Tetra return to Hyrule Castle, deep beneath the sea, where they find the king of the ancient kingdom in the legend, Hyrule. He tells them that the prayers of the people in the legend were indeed answered. The gods sealed Ganondorf and all of Hyrule with him by flooding the kingdom, ordering those chosen to rebuild to take refuge on the mountain tops, which would soon form the islands of the Great Sea. King Hyrule then gives Tetra a Triforce fragment, and combined with a fragment she already possessed, she now holds the completed Triforce of Wisdom. Knowing now that Ganondorf is seeking the Triforce of Wisdom and of Courage to complete the entire Triforce, Link leaves Tetra, now known to be Zelda, in the castle for protection. Later we find out that the Master Sword has lost its powers because the sages empowering the Master Sword were killed by the servants of Ganondorf, and Link must awaken the descendants of the line of sages to restore the Master Sword. Finally, Link needs to restore his own Triforce, which is the Triforce of Courage that had been split up into pieces. With the Triforce of Courage, the true power that dwells inside Link awakens, marking him as the true hero of time and also the hero of winds, now able to confront Ganondorf. That battle takes place in the castle beneath the sea. Link turns Ganondorf into stone and seals him away. Link and Tetra then float to the surface, leaving Ganondorf and King Hyrule to be buried under the waves with Hyrule. Searching for a new land to call Hyrule, Link and Zelda sail away on the pirate ship, which eventually leads to the plot of the Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. So, the Legend of Zelda Windwaker. This is the first Zelda game for the Wii, so you had this whole control thing going on, but I actually liked it. No, I'm lying. This was for the GameCube, but I played it on the Wii. Again, after, because you could play it on the Wii. No, but this is a GameCube game, sorry. And in the beginning, I was extremely skeptical because of that new design. It is that comic style, and I was like, what? I can never get accustomed to that. And also, this being so much later in the story, in the timeline, which, by the way, is considered to be in the timeline of the young Link. So when Link got back to the past and none of Ganondorf's mess has ever happened. So the fact this is being so much later in history, where all of Hyrule is flooded, or the whole world is flooded and there are islands in the beginning, it took me a while to get accustomed to that thought, but then when the story unfolded, I thought that this story was so awesome. And also, I really loved the dungeons and everything. I think I loved everything about this game. I have to tell you, once you get over this comic style thing and trying to get that Zelda feeling, which you really get later, because at some point you are there are Triforce shards, pieces you have to find. So there's the Triforce, and there's this moment in the game where you descend into the ocean and are in Hyrule. You are in the royal castle of Hyrule. So more Zelda feeling is not possible. And I freaked out once you are in that castle. There are so many foes, but they are like petrified, frozen in time. And you like go through them like, oh my god, don't move. If they all come to life now, I'm so screwed. But like you go through that castle and it's such a strange feeling. Unfortunately, there comes the moment when everything comes to life, but well, you know, that's a whole different story. So this is one of my favorite games. So as I said, it's tied with Twilight Princess. The story is awesome, and also, which I love about the Zelda games, is that they are so long. Like you have so many hours to play. There are so many things to explore, so many places to go, so many people to meet. It's
Zelda's the best.